Good afternoon, Connectors. We're in a series right now called Faith Over Fear. I just wanted to share a few encouraging words with you about overcoming your fear. My mom's dad has a special pacemaker that's put into his chest. And not only does it help his heartbeat, but if for some odd reason his heart were to stop, because most of his heart is still natural, if his heart were to stop, it shocks him back to life. And a couple of months, or about a month ago, this happened. And out of the blue, not expecting kind of the shortness of breath, and suddenly, whop, just this huge lump right in your chest. And it went off, the doctors told us it went off 4 times, although he only remembers 3 of them. And it was painful and it was tough, but it saved his life. And when I got to go down and visit him, I talked with Granddaddy, and he made the comment to me. He said, you know, the fear is it could go off at any time. The fear is at any moment that pain, that shock in my chest could happen. A lot of us live in this constant state of, what if this happened? What's the worst thing that could happen? We drive down the road and we're scared to death we're going to get hit by another car, or we lay in bed at night and we go, what if I don't wake up in the morning? And we constantly live in this fear. Listen to what Paul says. This is in Romans chapter 8, starting in verse 14. It says this: "For those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God." It's encouraging. "The Spirit you received does not make you slaves, not slaves to sin, not slaves to the world, not even slaves to your own desire. Does not make you slaves so that you live in fear again." In other words, we have been rescued from that. "Rather, the Spirit you received brought about your adoption to sonship, saying that you are God's kid." And everything changes when you're God's kid. "And by him we cry, Abba, Father." Abba was a really intimate term, meaning like daddy. "And by him we cry, Daddy." The Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's kids. Now, if we are children, we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ. Indeed, we share in his suffering in order that we may also share his glory. What's so great about this passage when Paul is talking about we are no longer slaves to fear is that as Paul is writing this, he's actually in prison. He's probably even being tortured to some extent. He's being beaten. And even in his worst of times, he's saying, you know what, we don't have to be slaves to fear. Sometimes, in order for us to get past the fear, we have to welcome the worst. We have to go, you know what, I can imagine what the worst is, and with God by my side, I'm willing to go through that. You know, Jeremy mentioned this last Sunday when he was preaching. He said, you know, God may give you more than you can handle. He may actually give you more than you can handle, but not more than you can handle with him by your side. So in other words, God's going to give you more than you can chew, but he's going to help you chew it. He's going to be there to help you through it. Sometimes we just need to welcome the worst and go, you know what, things may get bad, but I know that God is by my side, and I know together we can make it happen. Maybe today you would take the time to write down what your worst fears are and say, if God were by my side, could I go through this? Could I be like a Paul who's in prison and being tortured and still go through it with joy because Christ is with me, because I am an heir to God? Coming soon is our Palm Sunday celebration. This is a week before Easter. So on April 13th at 10 a.m., right out here in front of the church, we're having a massive Easter egg hunt. Please invite your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, anybody that you know who doesn't have a place to be on Palm Sunday. If they have kids or 12 and under, they'll get a chance to hunt for Easter eggs and get some little toys and candy. It'll just be a blast. And then afterwards at 10:30, we're doing a drama that's really, really good. I think you'll enjoy it. And it's the story of one of the soldiers who arrested Jesus, and he was there when he was tortured, and he was there when he was crucified, and in the end he discovers who Jesus really was. And it's all biblical, it's all straight out of the Bible. I think you'll enjoy that. In fact, we're running a few commercials on the CW, and we filmed them earlier this week with some of our 5-year-olds, excited about connections, and we love to show it to you. It looks like this.
We're having an Easter egg hunt. Oh man, now we have to restart that. Connection is having an Easter egg hunt.
On April 13th.
We are starting at 10 a.m. Everyone is welcome. We have 2,100 eggs. If I invite more kids, won't I get less eggs?